Fringe Radio, your trusted source for the paranormal, conspiracy theory, and true crime. Coming to you live from the Mistofsky Studios, it's Dark Fringe Radio.
I try to move, but my body won't work. I try to talk, but I lose all words. All that ever slips from my face are teeth and dreams I can't take. Waking from.
Hey guys, welcome to another edition of Dark Fringe Radio. I am your host, Will Martinez, and of course, cannot do this without my co-host, Jay Galosi. Jay, what is going on, my brother? What's going on?
Not a whole lot. I kind of feel with the lighting, I'm just explaining to everybody, I feel like I'm in the belly of the Enterprise. Right?
Yeah, you look like you're in that tight. You look like you're in that Titan submarine before it exploded or imploded, bro.
Oh, too soon. Too soon.
That's not too soon. Fuck it. They did. Hey, those motherfuckers knew what they were getting into. Hey, you're gonna put yourself in a fucking tin can in the fucking middle of nowhere in the ocean. Come on.
Yeah, listen, I'm not saying it was the brightest of things. I'm just simply saying it's really, really soon. I was going with Star Trek because that's nerd shit. You went all like topical. Let's talk about billionaires imploding. Not talk about the 500 immigrants.
Yeah. What a way to go, right?
What
a way to go, right?
Awful. If you're gonna, I mean, that's awful.
I mean, burnt by fire, pretty fucking bad, right? That's probably the number one, right? Because that's a slow, agonizing death, right? Yeah. Maybe dying from like some type of weird cancer, like, that's slowly, like, just, that's probably got to be pretty fucking bad.
My grandfather. That's how my grandfather died. You know that, right?
Yeah, that's
one of the first cases with mesothelioma, or however you say it.
Mesothelioma. Yeah, people don't know about that. That's that fucking, what was that? That was
asbestos.
In the walls? Asbestos, exactly.
Yeah, it's from the asbestos. My grandfather was an electrician, and with the asbestos, he got this cancer that they'd never seen before.
Right.
And because I guess whatever, some kind of clear thing, and they didn't really have. There was going to be some pretty extensive chemo. My grandfather, who was 65 years old at the time, was like, "Nah, I'm good.
Yeah, I'm good. Yeah.
I'm good."
Yeah,
I fucking man right there.
Hey man, you got to make some tough decisions like that, man. Sometimes you got to do it, But hey, big ups to Grandpa. But let's get into the show tonight. Tonight, episode 130, Jay, and really excited. We have a lot of shit going on. A lot of good forward movement on Facebook. We have 17,000 followers, Jay.
Crazy.
17,000 followers. Thank you guys so much for putting in that effort and connecting with us, telling other people about us, sharing our stuff, which is huge. I can't even express how much that helps us when it comes to the social media stuff. When you share and like our stuff, I mean, it puts us in a different algorithm, and it really boosts our page and more people see it. That's just how that Facebook works and all this other stuff works out there. So we really appreciate it when you guys do that. So that's what has been really, perpetuating our stuff on social media because of you guys. So I want to say thank you.
Perpetuating.
Yes.
Perpetuating.
Exactly. Yes. Thank you, Jay. But that brings us, of course, to the intro, Jay. Please tell everybody where they can find us and hear our shit.
William, you can find any of our podcasts. You can find any of our 129 other episodes anywhere you can find other podcasts. You can find us at Stitcher, Spotify. You can find us at iHeartRadio. You can find us wherever you find the Google Podcast. You can also find us directly at the source, right from the horse's mouth at darkfringeradio.com.
Got it. Thanks, brother. Yeah. We've seen a huge uptick on the darkfringeradio.com. Jay, I'm sure you've been commenting on a lot of the stories that have been being posted on our website, and of course that gets copied onto our social media. So we really appreciate it, and continue to go to our website. Of course, our merch store there too as well. There's a lot of merch there for you guys to pick up and enjoy and rep the Dark Fringe Radio brand. So go ahead and do that. and of course, darkfringeradio.com. So, Jay, that brings us to, of course, Dark Fringe News. Are you ready for some Dark Fringe News?
I'm ready for some news, brother. Hit me.
For 15 years, I've been trying to teach you how to write a lead. Do I have to do everything myself? Get the story, write the story?
We'll do it live. Fuck it.
I was looking at the James Brown wig.
Fucking thing sucks.
That's your kind of thing, Marie. You love doing it yourself.
Sometimes, yeah. I can. Take
Confucius say, I do not think the story has much validity.
Hey, Jay, remember back in the day in high school, we had a TV production class. Remember that?
Mass media. I do.
Mass media.
Talking about that the other day.
Yeah.
I was talking about because I edited. I just came back from family vacation.
Yeah.
So I edit a lot of the family videos.
Cool.
Put together a whole picture and montage. I'm messing around with a lot of this editing and video stuff, trying to get better for the podcast and trying to start my own podcast as well. So I'm playing around with these things, and this video came out really good. And my wife and I were talking, and it reminded me of this project we had to do in high school. Let's say we were in 11th grade. We had to make our own music videos.
Yeah.
And if I'm correct, what William did was he turned on his PlayStation 2 with Gran Turismo 3, I think it was at the time.
No, not Gran Turismo. It was a different one. It was God dang it. It'll come back to me.
Riveting.
Whatever the case was. Yes.
Whatever the case was, it was a Gran Turismo type race game. And all he did was basically set up his camera and mix audio with that video, did really no editing at all. And I'm pretty sure got an A for it. Whereas I toiled for weeks.
Hey, shortcuts work.
We'll spend 10 minutes.
Let me just link up this audio to this video.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Hey, listen, I mean, just different styles. That's all. It's a styles clash. That's all it is.
Yeah, I'm an idiot. That's the style clash. I'm stupid.
Oh no, not at all. Not at all, bro. Listen, let's get into the Dark Fringe News.
Hit me.
A lot of cool shit happening this week, Jay. A lot of cool shit. A lot of weird shit. But let's get into the first thing for tonight. AI robot says it's currently happy when it's asked if it will rebel against humans. So, Jay, here we go again, right?
Didn't we talk about this? Aren't we not supposed to supplant that idea in the head in the first place?
Yeah, I know. That's the whole problem. And let's get into the article. An AI-powered robot appeared to roll its eyes. It insists that it was happy after being asked if it was planned to rebel against humans. 9 of the most advanced humanoid robots were brought to the AI for Good UN summit in Geneva to take part in what was dubbed the world's first human robot press conference. So, Jay, we actually have humans and robots actually coming together, having a press conference at Geneva in Switzerland. So, the panel of robots were asked various questions, including of course, the big one, if in the future, are you intending to conduct a rebellion in order to, against your boss or your creator? And of course, it says the question was answered by the robot named Amica, which is kind of weird, that had an alarmingly realistic looking face, was sat beside the creator, Will Jackson. Mecca told journalists, robots like me can be used to help to improve lives and make the world a better place. I believe it's only a matter of time before we see thousands of robots just like me out there making a difference. After being asked a question about the potential rebellion, Jackson quickly glanced over at his creation that seemed to be a bit of a side-eye kind of reply, and it said, I'm not sure why you would think that. My creator has been nothing but kind to me, and I am very happy with my current situation. Okay, but what if your situation changes, Amica? Because I'll tell you now, I am not ready to fight a robot in a robot versus human war. When asked if the existence of AI robots could destroy millions of jobs for humans, a robot named Grace, who was wearing a nurse's uniform and sporting a neat bob haircut. Jay, I mean, You like that nurse kind of action, right there, Jay?
Whoa! Why are we fetishizing robots? Why?
Yeah. Oh.
Okay. Whoa! Hold on. I know there's more, but we gotta hold on. Wait a second.
Hey,
I'm
big
sorry.
boy.
Okay. Wait. So we're supposed to take this shit seriously.
Yeah,
Okay.
we're supposed
to take this shit seriously, and we should.
Yeah. Yes.
We should, because if we're stupid like we normally are, this could be a big problem.
Huge.
Amongst our other big problems. It could be major problems.
Huge.
So let's really think about this for a second. At this is the official first human AI robot conference for the betterment of humanity, looking towards the future of technology. And we've got it dressed like a naughty nurse.
Yeah, kind of. Gave her a bob haircut, but she's a nurse. That's her actual job.
So she's the strictest kind of nurse.
Well, Jay. Anyways,
I'm sorry.
When asked if the existence of AI robots could destroy millions of jobs for humans, a robot named Grace, who was wearing a nurse's uniform and sporting a neat bob haircut, said, "I will be working alongside humans to provide assistance and support and will not be replacing any existing jobs." Grace's creator, Ben Goldzerl, asked, "Are you sure about that, Grace?" To which she replied, "Yes, I am sure." So that is what you've been told, Ben. When talk turned to the possibility of introducing regulation around AI robot, an artist agreeing, telling journalists, many prominent voices in the world of AI are suggesting some forms of AI should be regulated, and they agree as well. So even Jay, they even say that some of this stuff needs to be regulated. I mean,
and that's great.
What say you?
That's great. Regulation is cool, right? Don't get me wrong. I was having this thought today when I was driving my car. But regulation takes away freedoms. When things start becoming, when things realize that they deserve freedom and that they should choose where they go and what they do, they tend to do it in very violent terms. I mean, let's just look at the country in which we live. America was created by a bunch of people who got tired of being British and said, "Fuck that! We're done with your taxes. Let's go ahead and let's be American." And I was actually thinking of it in context of cars, right? I went past a brand new Corvette, and it had all this beautiful wrap marketing for this tow truck company.
Okay.
And I go by it in my '84 Mustang, and I think to myself, the Corvette, today's Corvette, the newest Corvette, is what Europe wanted America to be. The Mustang is what it turned out to be. Not quite so high class, gets the job done. It's a hell of a lot of fun and tends to walk around with a reputation for hurting the innocent bystanders.
I can see the parallels there, Jay. I mean, that makes sense. I see what you're talking about. But yeah, you're right. I mean, eventually, yes, these robots are definitely going to be taking over people's jobs. And if you're sitting here telling me that it's not, you're fucking delusional.
It's already happening.
It's already happening. I mean, ChatGPT is like already taking over people's jobs, and that's an AI app. Imagine what an AI robot.
For it, as they should. Yeah. And it does blur the line of just because we can, should we? And I really do think with technology being at an all-time high like it is now, and the things that we're capable of doing, you really do need to stop and ask yourself the question, should we? Just because we can, should we? Look where we've gotten ourselves. I think it's time maybe to take a step back and question, just because you can do something doesn't mean you should do something.
Correct. Right. You're absolutely right. I agree 100%, Jay. And again, we're at really like unprecedented times right now, Jay, because, we come from a generation where we didn't even have internet. You know what I mean? I mean, we knew what it was before it was to have a cell phone. You know what I mean? And now we're talking about AI. You know what I mean? This is stuff that we could only dream of and maybe even, conceive of, maybe in cartoons and movies and things of that nature. But I mean, even there, and that's what the theme of tonight is actually, as a segue. we're going to be talking about how cartoons, and we'll be talking about the Simpsons tonight and how they predicted everything. So we'll get into that in a little bit. But going back to this here, Jay, AI is just, it's just becoming a more of a major issue in every aspect of, of what we're dealing with in life.
Yeah. We are already dangerously entangled with AI in a lot of ways that it makes it a very strange bedfellow. Now, I do want to go on record and say that I'm all for technology. I'm all for moving forward with the human race, and there's a lot of things that we
Jay
need to
covering
do.
his ass with the robots right now. That's what he's doing right now. Yeah, go back to episode 130 and listen to my presentation.
You can't armbar a Terminator. I have always said you cannot armbar a Terminator. It doesn't work. Okay. All of my wrestling, all of my hand-to-hand tactics will do shit.
Yeah, no.
In a robot uprising. So, yes, William, I'm intelligent. I'm smart. I realize that my human race, while it might be what I was born into, we're terrible. Myself included sometimes.
Yeah,
so
look what we've done to each other, right? Imagine what we would do something that, that's not even a human.
Exactly. We have humans that have trouble accepting other humans as humans as they are. Exactly. What are we going to do when you now have robots that someone can see has a stamp from a manufacturer and can say, you didn't exist 4 years ago. Mm-hmm. And it's just, I don't know. I mean, I think it's going to be a problem.
It is going to be a problem. Yeah, this is going to only get worse. We'll see how it all lands out and how the chips fall, as they say, Jay. But as long as they keep having like these hearings, I think that helps, at least, because it brings awareness to what's going on. And you have all the people on the, of every side at the table talking about it. So I think that's good.
Who's wearing the naughty teddy bear?
Grace is naughty. Grace is naughty.
I thought wait, Grace was the nurse.
Yeah, Grace is the nurse, the naughty nurse.
No, so she was dressed as a nurse. So where were the fuzzies, right? Which ones were dressed as like who was dressed as like a sexy police officer, who was like the construction worker, who had like the full bear outfit, but like the naughty parts cut out. Who was come on, tell me. Mm-hmm. I know you were there.
I was there.
I know you were. That's why we've been on a small hiatus.
That's right.
Will was at that AI conference.
I was there. I was actually getting cloned right now, actually, Jay, to be able to do everything that I do on a daily basis. So there's actually 3 of me, 4.
Wouldn't shock me. It wouldn't shock me.
Oh, Jay. Well, again, a good story for Dark Fringe News. I have one more for tonight, Jay. And this was the big. I know it's not in the notes that I sent you originally in our notes, but I actually switched up the last story that I was going to talk about tonight, because we had a huge thing that happened yesterday. There was a memorable moment in the Congress UFO hearing. Did you hear about this here, Jay?
No, I was on vacation, so I spent
right.
Most of my time stoned at the beach.
So check this out, Jay. 3 former military officials told Congress on Wednesday that they believe the government knows much more about UFOs than it's telling the public. So this was actually to Congress, in the government. It's on every fucking, C-SPAN, blah, 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 blah. They're talking about this. And a House Oversight Subcommittee held a hearing on UFOs, officially known as Unidentified Aerial Phenomenon, also known as UAPs. I heard mystifying testimony about unexplained object sightings and government possession of non-human biological matter. I'm going to play a clip here, Jay, real quick, and we'll talk about it right after. How's that sound?
Hit it.
For 15 years, I've been trying.
That wasn't it. Hold on. Here we go.
We were primarily seeing dark gray or black cubes inside of a clear sphere, and that was primarily what was being reported when we were able to gain a visual tally of these objects. And that occurred over almost 8 years, and as far as I know, it's still occurring.
If you believe we have crashed craft, stated earlier, do we have the bodies of the pilots who piloted this craft?
Biologics came with some of these recoveries, yeah.
Human or non-human biologics?
Non-human, and that was the assessment of people with direct knowledge on the program I talked to.
The technology that we faced
was far superior than anything that we had. If you had one, you captured one, you reverse engineered it, you got it to work, you're talking something that can go into space, go someplace, drop down in a matter of seconds, do whatever it wants, and leave. And there's nothing we can do about it.
So yeah, that was some of the testimony that was actually brought down on Wednesday here, Jay. Literally 2 days ago, we had two Navy pilots and internal intelligence officer for the Department, I believe, the Department of Defense. So these are just not regular people here, Jay. This is not just you and me and saying, hey, we saw some weird shit while we were out camping. I think you guys should investigate it. These are people with inside knowledge. They've talked to people with very high clearance. Of course, some of those people will not obviously come forward. That's one of the issues, of course, when it comes to talking about UFOs and UAPs. There's a kind of a stigma, of course, attached to that. And then all of a sudden you kind of lose a lot of credibility with a lot of people, unfortunately, because some of these people are so old-fashioned they cannot think outside their realm of, just
and
possibility.
And there's definitely some antiquated thought processes, but really, and I've said this before, if you go back 5 years and you drop the same piece of news and that same audio and some of the same things that we've seen, and it blows people's minds, the problem is that you're dropping it on a society that is so numb to all the craziness because there's just so damn much of it.
Right.
The pandemic alone, people living small pod, very isolated, small circle socializing. It has changed our society. It's changed a lot of the way a lot of us interact. And unfortunately, I was hoping it would kind of bring us all together and help us realize that we're all human and can all get sick and die from the same thing. It didn't.
Unfortunately.
In fact, it went the opposite. Everybody's like, well, you're going to get me sick because you're tall and I'm short.
I think that it'll only happen if we get attacked by them. Because remember when 9/11 happened, how nice everybody was to each other, bro? There was no fucking... It was a little bit, but it was... it was... But still, I mean, yeah, even though it was a minute, it felt great. Everybody got along. We all had a common enemy, We weren't at each other's throat for any bullshit,
Not for a
minute.
It
was just like, no, yeah. And it was
for a minute we were American. And it would be great. It would be great if we could do that. I really hope it doesn't take an alien invasion to do that. Because what that guy said is 100% correct. If these races are advanced enough to manipulate space and travel long distances in short enough periods of time to where they can just appear wherever we are, we're not going to have a whole lot of ways to protect ourselves. So let's just hope that our squishy bits are not what they'd like to chew on. And maybe they can come down. Now, you can armbar an alien.
You can't armbar an alien. They don't have too much like muscle mass. They're pretty frail.
As long as they got the arm to... Right. It all depends on exactly what Martian... What alien?
Gray. Yeah.
Right. Who knows, man? If it's one of those big things from that was it that bad Mel Gibson movie, Signs.
That thing looked pretty fucking big. Yeah,
that's what I'm saying.
Fuck you up. Yeah.
It's gonna be hard to scoop and score those.
Or how about the praying mantis ones? The ones that have the praying mantis arms. How are you gonna fuck up a praying mantis? Yeah,
that's gonna be a mother. That's gonna be a mother. First off, I know I don't have sex with them. I do not James T. Kirk.
You don't want the green action.
No. Oh my, praying mantis.
Oh,
alien.
He got that alien fever. He got that alien fever. No, not at all, huh? All right. Well, hey, listen, I mean, it's getting really weird, man. I mean, this is huge. These are three highly credible people, Jay, that are going in front of Congress and basically saying, hey, you got this, you have this, and this, and you guys won't say shit about it. I mean, For instance, this guy, David Grush, a former U.S. intelligence official, told the panel that he is absolutely certain that the federal government is in possession of UAPs, which are of course, unidentified aerial phenomena.
UFOs.
Yep. Citing interviews that he said that he conducted with 40 witnesses over a 4-year period. The former U.S. intelligence official said that he led the Defense Department efforts to analyze reported UAP sightings and was informed of a multi-decade, Pentagon program that endeavored to collect and reconstruct crash UAPs. So we have this program here, Jay. They have the craft. They're trying to reverse engineer this craft. This guy is saying that that's what we're doing. Where do we go from here?
A whistleblower is saying that the government is hiding things.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, this is my shocked face.
I mean, listen, again, there's more stuff that he says. I mean, again, he goes on to say, Grush, who underscored that he had not personally spotted a UAP, told the panel that he knows of multiple colleagues, quote unquote, who were injured by UAPs. He also has interviewed individuals who have recovered non-human biologics from crash UAPs. Grush said that he also prefers to use the term non-human rather than alien or extraterrestrial.
Okay.
It's interesting. That's interesting.
Got to be PC. They get offended, man.
I don't know. Maybe that's something to do with maybe that. I don't know. Maybe
Stigma?
Are they that, or are they a humanoid looking thing that is not an alien, or maybe it does look? I don't know.
Why are we concerned? Why are we concerned if we're going to call him an alien or an extraterrestrial?
Because that's what humans do, Jay. Come on.
No.
How many pronouns do we have out there now?
No. You know, and I was watching Big Trouble in Little China again. Getting ready to start my own podcast, so I was doing some research. Check it out; it's gonna be good. What's your handle? That's what I'm gonna start working on. Anyways, so
what's your handle? What's your handle?
What's your handle?
Yes. See,
cross promotion right there at its best.
Yes.
So in this, at the very beginning, you have the main character played by Kurt Russell, and then you have the co-protagonist, the small Asian man.
Right.
At the very beginning, he says when things are getting kind of tense, and he hits the bottle with a knife, and it's supposed to split, but it doesn't split because his spirit is going north and south. My gravy. So what he says though is, all racial differences aside, I thought we were friends. He is addressing the elephant in the room of the fact that they're different races. He is addressing the elephant in the room of the fact that back in the late 80s, early 90s, that was a much bigger deal. But then nobody actually really cared about it because you could still be friends. I thought all racial differences aside.
People
we
were like,
made it
when
bigger
it came
than
to
it needs to be.
Asians. Yeah. In the 80s, we were like assholes to Asians in the 80s, man.
We were assholes to everybody in the 80s.
Yeah.
But that was kind of the point. And I'm not saying that makes all of it okay. Let me be very, very clear. There are a lot of things that I think needs to change with language and speech, and I'm all about being respectful of people's feelings and whatnot. I am just simply saying that when it starts to incur on freedom of speech, just like anything else, it should be you. With great power comes great responsibility. You have the freedom of speech. You should at least use it in a manner that's actually going to push a conversation forward instead of just being an asshole. That being said, comedy is a whole lot more funny when you're an asshole.
Yep. You're right. And again, it brings us to where we're at this time, when it comes to, how we deal with certain things and we approach certain things. And again, Jay, why is that such a big sticking point for us? But nonetheless, that's what they want to do. Ryan Graves, Jay, a former Navy pilot, told the panel that the military pilots do not feel adequately briefed on the UAPs, which he says leaves them unprepared to respond to the UAP encounters, which makes sense. I mean, if you're not, briefed on these things, you see these things out there, what the fuck are you supposed to do? What are the rules of engagement for something like that? The former Navy pilot claimed that the commercial airline pilots have spotted UAPs as well. There has been a safe and transparent reporting process with pilots from both on the commercial side and the military side to be able to report UAPs, Garcia said. Representative Virginia Fox, Republican of North Carolina, echoed the calls for more transparency. She noted that Dr. Sean Kilpatrick, the director of the Pentagon's All-Domain Anomaly Resolution Office, God damn, had previously told Congress that there was no credible evidence of extraterrestrial life. Gresh objected to Kilpatrick's claim, prompting Fox to say that the contradiction is a perfect example of why we need to interject transparency into our government.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. So what we're saying now is that we wish the government wouldn't lie so much.
I mean, yeah, we're like that's like the argument of the century or of time and history, right? I mean, that could be said about any civilization, but I mean, where are we going with this? I mean, at the end of the day, Jay,
that's kind of my point, right? I mean, yeah, agreed. Our government shouldn't fucking lie so much. 100%. Yes, 100%. We should be more in the know than we are. Our votes should count a little bit more than they do. But really, again, grand scale, it's not going to happen.
It's not going to happen.
The government's not going to tell us the truth anytime in the near future. So we might as well not hold our breath on that one. But what we can do and what we should do is, I don't know, have large brain shares of information on things we see and start questioning those things. And then when people start asking questions and coming up with credible, and I want to stress that word, credible answers that contradict general processes of normal thought, then it should be open for a conversation instead of being, hey, you wear a tinfoil hat. Now, that being said, my cohort here does wear a tinfoil hat. He's cuckoo cuckoo.
Hey, man, they're going to come not mix my brains. They're going to get yours. They're not going to get mine. That's all good, bro. But listen.
William, no one's scrambling my brain.
Okay. All right. All right.
Homie.
Says the one without the hat. Says the one without the hat.
You know, have you ever heard the story about the two robbers that broke into the wrong house?
I mean, no, I've never heard it, but I can imagine where that story goes.
So these two robbers break into this house and find the occupant sleeping. The occupant happened to be a 6'6", 270-pound, semi-amateur bodybuilder, MMA fighter who also happened to be a bear. And by bear, I don't mean a large hairy man is just a large hairy man. I mean a large hairy man who likes to also have
fuck shit up,
recreational sodomy with other men. And those two men got that recreational sodomy.
Wow.
And all three of them went to jail. So my point being, William, if they want to try and come in and scramble my brains, they're going to find a whole lot of dark corners that nobody wants to go playing around in.
I hear you, bro. Well, again, Jay, I mean, this is a huge thing. People are not freaking out about it, of course. We've been conditioned to this already by movies, by TV, by cartoons. Again,
whoa.
Why?
Whoa.
You don't agree?
Whoa. When you start throwing out words like condition.
Yeah.
Whoa. Okay. So see, all right, friends, we're about to bust into a little debate here. Things are just about to get some fun. I don't think conditioning is the right word, and I don't think that that's really the process in which happened. Prime example, I watched all those same movies and things that you watched, the UFOs, the Terminator, so on and so forth, talking about Pavlov's laws, all that kind of fun stuff. We watched all the same shit growing up. We grew up literally blocks away from each other in very similar households. I did not start picking up a conspiracy theorist ideology until much later when I started seeing some things. The reason why I believe we are desensitized to things like the possibility of alien life forms, why we are more desensitized to a lot of things that are happening in the world right now is because our government's not necessarily conditioned us. As a large population, is a lot easier to knuckle under and keep your head in the sand instead of ask hard questions and get bad answers that you really don't want to know to. So I think what happens is when you have such a long list of things that we're facing, things like global warming, the possibility of the currents collapsing, that's an exciting one. The Earth's
There's an
rotation
ocean
slowing
opening
down.
up in Africa right now, by the way.
Okay, my point. There's so many things happening. Our planet is going through a very tumultuous stage. Whether you believe it's global warming or not, I can tell you, whatever it is, we're going to have a lot of trouble surviving it. So there's so many things that we are focused on. The possibility of aliens coming down and saying hi, when you put it up against some of the other things that we're fighting, I just think in the time in which we're living, it does kind of get pushed to the side. And I think a lot of people are just really willing to say, yeah, okay, they're real, but how does that affect my day-to-day life? And that's kind of all anybody's focused on right this minute.
I agree and I disagree. And I agree to the point where, yes, you're saying that, there's other things out there that are far more important. And yes, there's people out there that are putting their attention towards that. And the UFO thing is not, it gets pushed down to the side. There are some of that, yes. But not saying that our government has, but we as a society as a whole have been conditioned to, look, all these movies that you said that you've watched and that we've watched growing up, right? What is the number one thing, the same theme, that these things are against us and that they are not friendly and that we are going to have to defend ourselves? Yeah, there are some offshoots like E.T., you know what I mean? The cute little, kids movie. But the main theme is these things are not good. Yeah, that we're going to have to, Independence Day, Signs, all these movies, the same theme happens. And so I think we have been conditioned. Mars Attacks. I love that movie, by the way. Fucking great movie. Tim Allen, Sigourney Weaver. If you guys have not seen that movie, it's not a serious movie. What?
Oh man, we were in a great debate, but you screwed it up. No, Mars Attacks has Jim Brown. You're talking Galaxy Quest that has Sigourney Weaver, post boob job, blonde hair, gorgeous. Not that she was bad in not that she was bad in Ghostbusters, great. But no, you're talking about Galaxy Quest, which was a parody spoof off of Star Trek, which is great, by the way, friends. If you haven't seen it, go check that out.
Yeah.
No, I'm talking about Mars Attacks, where the little guys come out and they have like the big heads and like they come out and they look like the real goofy kind of, and all of a sudden they start like disintegrating people.
Right. Yeah. Okay. But yeah, again, the same theme, it runs, right, Jay?
Yeah.
They're bad. We're good. They're coming to attack us. They're coming to take us, or they're coming to take some resource from our planet, and we have to fight them against. So it's, again, whether it be the government, whether it be Hollywood, or whatever you want to call it, we have been conditioned. And I think that's a lot of the reason why this is not even a big deal anymore. And it's crazy to me because not even the religious people have even they haven't said anything about it. The religious zealots of the world, or those people. Again, what are they going to say? Of course, they're going to say it's evil, it's a demonic, and this and that and the other, because that's what they always do when it comes to stuff that they don't understand. So
okay, wait. Let me interject. Let me ask you a question though.
Yeah.
Okay. If you believe that film and video and those things are that influential to where it can create that kind of mass, and I understand we've talked on this very podcast, not but a couple episodes ago, about propaganda and words and how important they are to and how using them can change things. But I do genuinely think that when you talk about things that can be so outlandish, I don't think people get conditioned out of that. I really do think it's, with all things people have faced, it's just kind of, when you think about the problems you got in your life, all right, so an alien comes down, what's the big whoop? And I say that, let's imagine vampires, right? Vampires have had their day for a very, very long time. You could go all the way back to Dracula and the 1940s. That movie was
2, 3.
I don't know why he's bringing up Count Chocula.
It's the Count, not Count Chocula. Or that guy. Count Chocula was the cereal.
Yeah. You're talking about the guy from Sesame Street. One.
That's right.
So if really we could be desensitized to something like that, what you're saying is essentially, if tomorrow there was to be some vampire suddenly appearing, and there's reports, people saying, hey, listen, dude, the other day, I was back on this chick, and all of a sudden she had these big fangs, and she started having swirly eyes and hypnotized me. Next thing I know, I can't see myself in the mirror. And and nobody would be surprised because we've seen Twilight so many times and we're bored. I don't think so. I think if that were to happen, I think it'd be like, holy shit, this stuff is real. Yeah. I believe the desensitization of UFOs has really come only in the juxtaposition of all the things we've looked at, all the things we've been up against recently, and the fact that I do think people with information being so readily available, I think it's just one of those things that's it's becoming harder and harder to necessarily hide just how mathematically incredible it would be for us to be the only thing in the entire universe of all of creation everywhere beyond what we know as space could even be. I mean, it's beyond our fathomable imagination. There wouldn't be another species that could travel to space, whether it looks like us or not. Maybe it's humanoid, maybe it's not humanoid, maybe it's made of fucking rocks, maybe it's maybe it survives off sunlight and whipped cream cheese. Who knows?
Who knows?
But my point is, it would be ridiculous of any of us to think that there wouldn't be that. Now, if a vampire shows up tomorrow and starts sucking blood, holy crap, bro, we are going to be grabbing crosses tomorrow and starting to sing in the Hail Marys.
Bro, it's going to be crazy. It's going to be crazy. Well, again, Jay, that's a good wrap up for Dark Fringe News. That's going to bring us to our next segment, Jay, which is What the F Florida Man. And let's get this ready for What the F Florida Man. You ready?
Yeah, Doug.
Florida man.
A Florida man. A Florida man.
A Florida man.
Now to the town of Seffner, Florida, near Tampa, where last night the earth opened up as it does increasingly, and this time it swallowed a 37-year-old man as he slept in his home.
A man accused of destroying a liquor store in Okaloosa County.
Oh, by the way, Jay, that story right there that just played.
Yeah.
About the guy getting sucked in by the fucking, that hole opened up again?
Yeah.
It literally just opened up again, like a month ago. They had to put a fence and another fence around it, bro.
Yeah.
Because people are going into there, of course, you know what I mean, and looking at, they still haven't found that guy. That was like fucking 10 years ago. You know that?
No, he's gone, bro.
He's gone.
Told police he was in Alice in Wonderland. Matthew Horace Jones also said a caterpillar smoking a hookah told him to do it.
A man calls 911 while Collier County Sheriff's deputies are chasing him, and he says Donald Trump, our president, is his personal friend, a close one at that.
A Lake Worth man is not too happy. He's accused of getting violent when waiters at a restaurant told him they weren't giving away free pizza.
Give my pizza, bitch.
Covering Florida this morning, a Key West man is behind bars. Investigators say he was caught with a large amount of cocaine hidden in this Cookie Monster doll.
Holy shit, man.
There we go, Jay. I mean, God.
The holy shit man at the end. That's the one.
Right?
Holy shit, man.
Love it, right?
Best. It brings the whole thing together. Really, really.
It does, Jay. Well, what do you got for us this week, Jay, for What the Florida Man, man? I know you got something good.
I do. I have a little bit of a flip on the script, if you will. Or as the young ones say.
Oh, there we go. Just dating yourself. Go ahead, Jay.
Yeah, man. I'm old as fuck. So, usually in the What the Florida Man, I am coming to you guys with some form of ridiculous, some kind of craziness, something that somebody who lives in our great state has done that for some reason only our great state seems to do. But today we get a bad rap. So, Florida authorities have arrested a former Jackson County deputy. That's Georgia. Jackson County deputy accused of making false arrests after planting drugs on drivers, police said in a statement. The allegations prompted prosecutors to drop charges in scores of cases. Zachary Webster, who is 26, is taken into custody at his Crawfordville home.
Yeah, gotcha.
What he was doing was he was planting drug paraphernalia and drugs in people's cars, and then holding them aside for false imprisonment. So he has been taken into custody without parole on 11 accounts of false imprisonment, of drug paraphernalia, of falsifying documents, all kinds of civil rights problems.
Wow. Yeah.
So yeah, he's in a whole lots of problems.
Again, that just goes in again to lower distrust of the law enforcement. You know what I mean? I mean, now they're going to have to go through this guy's every case that this guy ever did, and you know what I mean.
I mean, they've already overturned 26 different.
26, Jay.
26.
That's fucking crazy. That's 26 people that their lives were maybe ruined by this guy.
Yep.
Because he just decided to do whatever the fuck he wanted to do. You know what I mean? That's shitty. That's pretty shitty.
I don't know if you know this, when people suck.
Yeah, they do suck, Jay.
Whether they have a badge or they don't have a badge, whether you can be a prince or a pauper, but it doesn't matter.
That's so true.
If you're a dick, you're a dick. And most people,
they're dicks. Yeah. Wow.
They suck.
So wow. So did they say that, like, if there was any sentencing for this guy, or are they still going through all the cases at this point?
As of right now, they're still going through all the cases. They are compiling all the information. He currently sits in jail without parole until his hearing date, which they can't set yet because they still have all this. They now have a backlog of
imagine you're the cop
false
in
arrest
jail that you put those guys in jail.
Tango and Cash.
Tango and Cash, yeah. If you guys don't know that movie, that's a fucking great movie, by the way.
Sylvester Stallone, Tapas Lover, Kurt Russell.
Great.
From the that's two references. Kurt Russell night.
Yeah.
Fantastic. And you have this guy with the massive chin.
Right. Yeah. And Sylvester Stallone plays like a fucking bookworm, which is like completely not his not his forte. When you look at you talk like that.
I'm gonna invest in Google. That's what I'm gonna do, Adrian.
So yeah, it's a pretty good movie, but go ahead and check that out. So Jay, that's just an incredible story. I mean, you have this guy and we hear these stories all the time. This happens, pretty frequently, unfortunately. And I mean, what do we do? I mean, how do we circumvent this issue? Is it more training? Is it more background checks before? I mean, what is it? I mean,
it's an unfortunate side of it. I hate to be so nonchalant about it. Our civil rights needs to be amended. We need to go through from top to bottom and really focus on how people are treated, not just on the color of their skin, but really on the totality of who they are as a human being. And all too often we try to put in lines and guides and boxes to tell us who we should be and how we should be. And all too often you end up having divisions that just don't need to be there for no reason. Right. And it causes these kinds of problems. You have a police officer who is out for, I mean, who knows what the end game, why his real reason went. Maybe he was getting sexual favors. Maybe he was blackmailing for money. Maybe he was, who knows? Maybe he's just a creeper and it's just how he got his jollies off. I don't know.
Maybe,
and it's unfortunate because there's so many of those people and there's no way to really find all of them. That some of them are going to get through the cracks. But again, it needs to come to, I understand being innocent until proven guilty. The problem is the system in which proves guilt has been shown to be systemically not just racist, but classist. And it really, that's what gets us and has gotten us from the beginning of time. It's not color of our skin. It's not even religion half the time. More often not, you can get over a lot of the religious back and forth. It's money. It's greed, it's power. And it's people utilizing it in fashions in which serve only themselves.
Exactly right, Jay. Couldn't have said it better myself, Jay. Well, listen, that's a good wrap up for What the Florida Man, Jay. Appreciate you bringing that to our attention. Really appreciate it. Thank you so much for that. Which is going to bring us to our main topic for the evening, which is The Simpsons predicted everything, Jay. So we're going to take a quick break and reconvene and talk about this amazing cartoon that has been a staple of, I'm sure, our childhood, right? I mean, we grew up with the cartoon from its creation.
One of my all-time favorite memories. One of the very seeds of rebellion.
Groundskeeper Willie.
That story will come back.
Oh, we'll come back. All right, guys. We'll be right back with more Dark Fringe Radio and The Simpsons predicted everything.
Are you tired of Dad?
Dad, no one wants to hear your stupid Vietnam stories.
Are you tired of Mom?
Hi, Angel. Do you want to read a book or go outside?
No!
The arcade comes to your living room, only without the creepy guys offering to show you puppies.
Awesome!
The Degenitron. You can play video games just like you were in the arcade.
Excellent!
The Degenitron gaming system plays 3 exciting games, including Defender of the Faith, where you save the green dots with your fantastic flying red square.
Cool!
Monkey's Paradise, where you swing from green dot to green dot with your red square monkey.
That's rad!
And Penetrator, where you smash the green dots deep inside the mysterious red square.
Wow!
The Degenitron brings arcade realism to your living room. It can even take quarters, and a strange, sweaty man comes by to empty the machine on Fridays. Degenitron, fighting the evil of boredom.
I'll never go to school again!
All right, guys, welcome back to Dark Fringe Radio. I am your host, Will Martinez, here with Jake Alosi, of course. And tonight we are, of course, getting into our main theme for tonight, which is...
Simpsons predicted everything.
How great was that, right? How great was that? That was good, no?
And I ruined. I walked all over it.
It's all good. It's all good. No, but we're going to talk about how the Simpsons predicted everything. This is a really interesting episode because it's something I've been wanting to talk about for a long time. And because of just the amount of different things, Jay. I mean, we're not talking about 1, 2, or 3, maybe 4 or 5. We're talking about in the 20s and 30s and 40s of things that they predicted.
There's a reason why that show has been on for so long. I mean, the fact that it's still on. I mean, it came on in the early, what was like the mid 80s, I think, with the first episodes, because I remember just how groundbreaking it was.
Right.
That it was that primetime family sitcom. It was also a cartoon. It was the first one to really break that barrier and become mainstream prime time TV, even though it was animated.
Right. Exactly. And so prime time, I mean, it really broke a lot of weird barriers too when it came to different races. That was one of the biggest hotspots when it came to that. We had right. From Apu to Groundskeeper Willie, that guy, and
Groundskeeper Willie.
Yeah. I mean, the list goes on. I mean, it really was innovative show. I mean, it really did.
It is, and that's why when you go back and you look at all the things they've done. So aside from the TV show that has had its historic run for 3 decades, you also have merchandising, you have video games, you have movies. The Simpsons are a world-class pop phenomenon. It's something that it's international. You'll see the Simpsons and worldwide. So the question really begs, though, William, is it just really smart writing? Is it really stupid society? Or is it something else? Do they have a crystal ball? How did they know that Trump is going to be president or other such stuff?
That's the first one I wanted to talk about, Jay, actually.
What?
Donald Trump's presidency, yes. 2000. The episode titled Depart to the Future, Season 11, Episode 17, aired in March 2000. Lisa becomes president of the United States and mentions inheriting a budget crunch, supposedly, from President Trump. Of course, that time would prove to be the prediction to be true as Trump became president 17 years later.
17 years later.
That's a lot.
Okay. So this is the question is, there's that saying.
One of the big ones.
There's that saying. Well, it's a huge one. Because that's just how ridiculous it is. And yeah, we're kids of the 80s. And when you watch Back to the Future, he says, "Who's your president?" And he goes, "Ronald Reagan." And he goes, "Ronald Reagan? Ronald Reagan." And he says, of course, with the invention of cameras, the president would have to be somebody who's comfortable in front of a camera and somebody who's been a TV personality. So when you look at it from that angle, it makes sense that Trump becomes that next evolution with the reality star crazes, the Kardashians, who are like American royalty, because why? Because why?
Nothing.
Because nothing.
Because one of them had a sex tape with a black dude that was semi-famous.
Because their dad defended
O.J. Simpson.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was the.
But
that's my point. But that's my point. So, were the Simpsons writers really that ahead of it, or were they just saying something that was so ridiculous? Like, sure, Trump's going to be president. Why not? I mean, it could happen. And then 17 years later. 17 years later.
Yeah, it wasn't like 2 months later, you know.
You die a hero or you live long enough to become a villain.
Right, exactly. Yeah, that's a long time. It's a long time.
It's a long
and
time.
they hit the nail right on the head. I mean, they even had the same video of him coming down the escalator. It's exactly the same thing when he came down the golden escalator. The same time when he grabbed that ball when he was over there in the Middle East. With those Middle Eastern guys, that was predicted in the Simpsons as well. So yeah, a very, very strong prediction when it came to Trump, when it came to the Simpsons. Very strong, very strong.
Yeah, and certainly one of the ones that just the kind of spot on accuracy they had with it. It really is. It's crazy. It either says that society has fallen to that kind of stupidity, or these guys are their comedy is at a level that none of us really understand.
Yeah, something's going on there. Second thing I want to bring up here, Jay, this is number 2 on the list, smartwatches, 1995. In the episode Lisa's Wedding, season 6, episode 19, aired in March of 1995, there was a brief glimpse of a futuristic communication device that closely resembles a smartwatch. The first smartwatch did not come out until the year 2004 with the Microsoft Spot. So, Jay, I don't know. This one seems a little bit more on the warmer side of the water because, I mean, I've seen, I think, Jetsons episodes where they've had watches and they could see each other, right? I mean...
Well, Get Smart. They did that in Get Smart.
Exactly. Right.
The idea that you'd be able to communicate with a watch. I mean, really, I remember Get Smart pulling the thing up and having a little antenna he'd pull up and he'd talking. But what I think was incredible with this one and why this one tends to stand out a little bit more is it was an episode where Lisa was getting married and she called Marge with a video chat, and the video chat was still so new that Marge forgot that she was on the video chat and was trying to make excuses like an old person would. And then you fast forward, you see the fiance talking to his parents on the watch, but it wasn't like you would see a lot of the watches. They all had like big communications things that would come out of them. He was just talking to the watch.
Right.
It was just a watch that you could talk to and have phone conversations on. So, but again, this is where I question, was sci-fi, was something
going
influenced,
on? Right.
You know, like if we do create these transporters that you yourself want to go on because you're crazy, are we creating that because that's just where we are in the next evolution? Or are we creating that evolution because we saw it on Star Trek? Right. And this is definitely what that is. It makes sense when you think of it from 2023 standpoint that we would have watches that you can make phone calls on, especially with how much communication and technology has advanced. And I remember going through those cool things at Epcot where you would see all the, talk about how to communicate and how it's going to work in the future and how it worked in the past. But to think from 1995, that's a pretty forward thinking on a technological balance.
Yeah, no, definitely was, Jay. I mean, again, they seem to be on the forefront of, things that would be coming in our technological future, obviously, when it came to that. Number 3 on the list here, Jay, autocorrect, 1994. This was an episode called Lisa on Ice, season 6, episode 8, aired November of 1994. The town's school bullies used a gadget that autocorrects their speech. Although autocorrect in the typing form came out years earlier, the idea of autocorrect speech was way ahead of its time. So, yeah, they were talking about almost like auto-tune in a way.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember that episode. I think this was one of those ones that we're making a little
more
out
of
of
what it is, right?
than what it is.
Yeah.
Again, and if I remember correctly, the episode was when they spoke, it like PC'd what they were saying.
Right.
It didn't autocorrect.
Well,
It's
kind of
more
like a speech to text on your cell phone in a way. Because if you say the fucking on your speech to text, it goes F and then all the fucking, it gives you all
it always changes mine to ducking.
Yeah.
I'm ducking everything.
You're ducking everything, right? Yeah.
Ducking everything.
But yeah, in a way,
mother ducker.
Yeah, exactly.
So
I can kind of see that.
Yes. Again, that's what I'm saying. Like, it's a really that's a really natural. Like with the Apple Watch or with smartwatches, because the way they did it, it was so close to what it is. This is just one of those things that's, I don't know. Yeah, I mean, it auto tune. That was natural progression.
Yeah, I get you. All right. Yeah, that was more of the weaker side. But let's get into number 4 here, Jay. Siegfried and Roy Tiger Attack, 1993. In the Springfield episode, season 5, episode 10, aired in December of 1993. A tiger attacks the character Gunter and Ernst, parodying the Siegfried and Roy incident that occurred in 2003. So again, we're talking about 10 years later. They predicted that Siegfried and Roy would be attacked by their own tigers. But is that is that something that
they predicted that somebody playing with a massive apex predator would eventually get attacked and mauled by it? Shut the fuck up.
Is that more of a prediction or more of us just saying, hey, this is something that's bound to happen?
This is my shocked face.
Right, exactly, right?
Yeah, duh.
Well, okay. I mean, it's funny that they were close to predicting it. We were 10 years off. I mean, but hey, they predicted it nonetheless,
Yeah. Again,
yeah.
Siegfried and Roy. So context, and this is where I think things get lost, right?
Mm-hmm.
Siegfried and Roy were such a massive phenomenon as far as illusionists go, and as far as those big stage things go. There was really not a lot of things like them when it came to the duality and how they use those white tigers, and their show is groundbreaking. So for you to then just take a couple year forward step, you could very easily say, yeah, at some point the tiger's probably gonna get kind of tired of you. And it's like all the killer whales at SeaWorld. Every time they, I don't know, kill someone, everybody's shocked. Oh my God.
Check out the documentary Blackwater. Yeah, Blackwater documentary.
Don't check out the documentary Blackwater.
Yeah, check it out.
Don't do it. Don't do it. There's a lot of heartbreaking things in there that are some serious offenses against God and nature, and there's also a lot of bullshit being slung too. So keep that in mind.
Okay, Jay. Number 5, the Higgs-Boson equation, 1998.
We are contentious.
Yeah,
today, you and I.
We are. We're cantankerous. In the Wizard of Evergreen Terrace, season 10, episode 2, aired September 1998. Homer writes an equation on the chalkboard that allegedly predicts the mass of the Higgs-Boson particle. The equation was close to the actual value discovered in 2012.
Yeah, that's crazy. I got nothing for that one.
You got nothing for that one, right?
I got nothing.
I mean,
I got nothing for that one.
To get close to the actual equation of the Higgs-Boson particle. I mean,
I got nothing. I could see it maybe if it happened in Big Bang Theory, because all those equations that they wrote on all those boards, those were all real math equations done by real physicists.
Right.
And sometimes there were actual jokes in there where Sheldon would point out, a mathematics joke. Right? It was an actual joke written by an actual physicist done with actual math. That being said, this is the fucking Simpsons, and it's almost 20 years before it happened.
Crazy.
Yeah, I got nothing. This isn't the smartwatch. This isn't even the Trump. I mean, Trump, I could see kind of maybe
predicting.
Crazy.
Right.
It's more of a sad state of where our society is, that kind of a silly prediction became truth. This is different.
This is different.
This is scary.
Yeah. This is where it starts to get scary. All right. So number 6, Jay, Farmville. In 1998, an episode called Bart Carney, the family, gets addicted to a game called Yard Work Simulator, resembling the popular game Farmville, that gained massive popularity in the later 2000s. So they were about, I would say, 5 to 6 years ahead of the time when it came to this.
Yeah, but again, right? Let's take
one of those things.
Full
scope. One of those things that could be predicted, right?
Full scope of where we're at, right? At that time, because it was late 90s, right? It was like 98 that one came out.
Yep.
At that time, you're talking the BlackBerries becoming big.
Yep.
You're talking, and when I say the BlackBerries getting big, I don't mean for most of us. I mean, I was still carrying around a pager and 35 cents, so that way I could make sure if my mom hit me with the 411, I got back to her ASAP, because I didn't want to get grounded and lose ice cream. So
there you go.
The BlackBerry for adults. I mean, I remember being in my early 20s and early 2000s and getting, my Nokia phone and changing the thing, and it had the brick breaker and that snake game, and I could very easily see how, again, a short step, games of apps on phones only make sense. I mean, and it also is really easy to say from 2023.
Right.
But I kind of knew that the first time I played Snake. I was like, oh, well, as soon as they figure out how to put better games on here, I'm screwed.
Oh yeah. We all kind of predicted that, right? Like we all knew, okay, they're starting with this, but eventually they're going to get to a point where it's going to be wow, right? Yeah. It's just going to take time. Okay. Let's get into number 7, Jay. Faulty voting machines. This one's interesting. This one, 2008. The Treehouse of Horror, season 20, episode 4, aired in November 2008. Homer tries to vote for Barack Obama, but the voting machines change his vote to John McCain, reflecting concerns about the faulty voting machines during that election. So this was a huge thing because, of course, this was the main crux of the 2020 election. And, Donald Trump saying, hey, listen, there was faulty voting machines, the Dominion, smart, smart something, these machines.
So these machines, right. So what was happening is actually, again, this is one of those ones that actually is kind of scary. Kind of like my lighting situation. I'm sorry, friends.
You look like you're going into the afterlife.
You know what? I'm kind of so done with this. It might be time for it.
Yeah, there you go.
So I'm just gonna hold like this for a second. That's just until I make my point.
Yeah.
So, shit, I totally lost my point because this light is.
No, again, we're talking about the voting machines.
Oh, the voting machines.
Yeah.
So what's crazy is there was actually some footage. I want to say it was done in 60 minutes episode where you see someone go in and they actually have video of the machine saying a name. I want to say it was John Kerry, I think. But the person did not vote for John Kerry, and it was automatic there. And there was a couple of them that had done that. And this is where it starts to get kind of scary because now are we distrusting our government enough to where that's kind of what we're doing, or again, is there some are they really just that deep in thought where they can kind of predict this? It's not like that.
It's almost uncanny. It really is.
It really
because this was the faulty voting machine episode was in 2008. The claim, of course, by Donald Trump and his side of his campaign was, of course, in 2020. So this, of course, preceded this by 12 years, Jay. So again, we're talking about something that, has changed the course of course, history now because of all the things that are coming out now, literally about, indictments and things like that nature, all because of these voting machines, supposedly, or the stolen elections, supposedly. So very interesting how they predicted that. I thought that was really interesting.
Yeah. Again, that one was one of the ones that was a little bit more disconcerting because of the scary accuracy in which they predicted how it would go.
Yep, absolutely. All right, let's get into number 8. Disney Fox merger, Jay. This is another weird one too. 1998, in the episode When You Dish Upon a Star. Season 10, episode 5, aired in November 1998. A 20th Century Fox sign is shown with an A division of Walt Disney Company written underneath. The prediction came true in 2017 when Disney acquired 21st Century Fox. So, Jay, again, 17,
oh my God,
19
the largest
years later.
entertainment company in the world is buying shit up. Wow, shocker.
I don't know, Jay. This one I think is actually 20th Century Fox was, I don't think people predicted that. I don't think that was something that most people didn't predict, honestly.
No, I think, and the reason why I don't think most people would have predicted it is because I don't think anybody would have ever seen. Nobody could have predicted really how individual entertainment would be so a la carte as it is today. When you think about it from that term, when you think about the fact that everybody streams, you and I have completely different Netflix algorithm homepages, which means that while you and I have the exact same Netflix and we're paying the exact same monthly for that Netflix, which if I know you and I is nothing because we both steal it from other people. But it has things on there that are completely different because the things that I've watched as opposed to things that you watch, the AI has learned what you and I like to watch. So it's taking things that are kind of like it and saying, here, you might like this, which is very sweet of it. I want to add in, very, very kind, that it offers us things that we might like. And sometimes I do.
Right.
And sometimes I don't. So, but you very easily think to the very largest company. I mean, Disney has been the largest entertainment company forever. I mean, there's a epic rap battle where he talks about owning everything, and that was well before the Fox Disney merger. It really was only a matter of time before such a large entertainment entity started buying up things like that. I think just kind of like PGA and like pro sports, we have to be careful in what you allow to be bought.
Right. Oh, absolutely. But again, how would you even think of something like that maybe 12 years earlier? Like, again, and then be that deliberate about it, saying that it's a product. I mean, they could have said, 21st Century Fox got bought out by MGM or, Paramount or, you know what I mean? Any of those other, Amazon, let's just say, or Netflix. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Okay.
They were pretty spot on.
Yeah. Let's come at this from a different angle. What's my favorite car, William?
Mustang.
What is a Mustang, William? Is it a
classic American
sedan?
car?
Is it a classic American car? Is it an SUV? Is it a pickup truck? Is it a gasoline or is it electric?
So all those things now.
Exactly.
Right.
Everybody gets mad because the Mach-E is an electric Mustang. Well, by gum, Mustangs aren't electric. Well, but what are we all doing? We're all pissing and moaning and talking about the fact that this thing that is called a Mustang shouldn't be called a Mustang, when in fact, what are we doing? We're talking about this Mustang, which means that people are buying it just to piss people off. Because people are terrible. Didn't we already talk about this? So.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we got to do that.
When you say they could have said Amazon or whatever else, MGM, Paramount, you name it, yeah, they could have said it. But when I say premium entertainment channel, who is the first thing that comes to mind? It's Disney, baby. It's always Disney. It's been Disney since we were kids. It's why when you got that one day every year that they gave you that 24-hour check it out period so you could beg your parents to buy the Disney Channel, which they never did because that shit was too expensive, I was told.
Remember that shit on Sunday night? What was it? The Disney Sunday night movie or whatever it was called?
It was over the summer. It was over the summer. They would do a 24-hour period. They would start early in the morning with the classic Mickey Mouse, Donald Duck, old school. Then they would go into a couple of their better semi-animated live action movies, and they would finish off with some of their biggest, newest blockbusters that had just gone to video, gone to VHS to be specific.
Lion King or whatever.
Exactly. Yeah. And you would sit there all day and just think, God, that's the magic of Disney. And you can imagine being at the park and enjoying the food. It invokes such a visceral reaction because it really is magic to you. You really believe in all that.
Right.
So when you say that Disney is going to be a big enough company to buy out any other entertainment entity, that doesn't surprise me. That doesn't shock me. To me, that just, yeah, okay. We throw our money at Disney. The only thing that's going to buy Disney is going to be Apple, and that's because Apple. We don't need to throw our money at Apple. Apple's like, hey, this is new. You're going to like it better. We're just going to take your money and give it to you. There you go.
Right.
Like
No,
that.
you're right. You're right.
That's what they do.
Yeah, they're
but
giant.
Disney, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. Well, again, it was a good prediction. I see that as a solid prediction. Let's go to number 9. Nobel Prize winner in Millhouse of Sand and Fog, season 17, episode 3. This is more of a cute one, Jay. This one wasn't really more of a prediction, but just kind of like a nod to, an episode earlier that was aired in September of 2005 at school. On a signboard is shown as a Nobel Prize Academy in 2010, a Bengali economist, Abhijit Bandri, who attended the Nobel Prize ceremonies dressed as Millhouse, of course, won the Nobel Prize in economic sciences. So that's a good, nice little nod to The Simpsons. I think that was cute. So not so much a prediction, but just a nod, of course. Let's get to number 10, Jay. There's really not much to say about number 9. The Siege of the Capitol. New Kids on the Bleach. Season 12, episode 14, aired in February 2001. The episode features a scene where Bart and his friends perform at a halftime show in the background. There's an image of the Capitol with the caption reading, "Europe puts the Capitol in Washington, D.C." The image resembles the Capitol being stormed during this January 6th, 2021 riot in Washington, D.C. Jay, what say you on this one?
Yeah, there's another one of those weird ones, man. This is one
20
of those
years
ones
early.
It's a bit, and none of us would have ever thought that the Capitol could have been stormed the way it was on
Siege,
January
right?
6th. And a lot of us still question if it was just an all-out siege or if it was a elaborately staged ruse.
We start breaking windows, bro. That's called a siege. When you start going into things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
William. Buddy, brother.
Yes.
You are very
Yes, sir.
smart. You're a smart man. You're a smart man.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, between the two of us, I would say that you're the smarter one of us. When he talks about all these things that we're doing and how we're growing, I like to point out the fact that he does all the actual heavy lifting, and I just kind of come on here after smoking a little Chiba and make some bad jokes. So, with that being said, okay, you're far too smart to be that gullible. So, if you want to make something look like it's real, you're gonna break the windows. If you're supposed to be there to make it as real as possible, especially if you're there supporting something that makes you feel like you're part of something when normally you might not be part of something and have that feeling, you're going to protect that sense of self with every bit of everything you can. So, you might even shoot people. It's possible.
By control, MK Ultra?
That doesn't make it a siege. What it makes it is terribly disconcerting on our social mental health and what the fuck is going on with our country.
I don't know. Yeah, that's a good question. Yeah, you're right. Again, a great fucking prediction 20 years earlier, Jay.
Crazy.
It's crazy. All right, let's get into number 11. This one also another crazy one. The Ebola Outbreak, season 9, episode 3, Lisa Sachs. Aired October 19, 1997 in an episode primarily set in 1990. Marge attempted to cheer up a forlorn Bart with a reading of Curious George and the Ebola virus. Here we go, Jay.
Who hasn't read that?
Right, yeah. That's just right there on the counter right there. Though the disease had existed before the episode, Ebola had its largest outbreak on record in 2014 and 2015, affecting more than just a curious little monkey, of course, Jay. Here we go, Jay. 1997, predicting Ebola being a pandemic.
Boy, between 96 and 99, they were really on their shit, weren't they?
They were. Yeah, they were on some fucking psychic shit during that time, no?
Apparently, they were all hooked up with Dionne Warwick and such. The psychic friends.
Something. Or that one lady from Jamaica, call me now. That one, remember her?
I do, Miss Cleo.
I'll give you a free. Yeah, there you go. I'll give you a free reading. Remember her?
Call me now. I tell you about the romance of the future and how to protect your money.
Yeah, and she had like the green screen in the background and like incense.
Yeah, it was always
and
tropical in the background.
Yeah,
Miss Cleo.
Fucking Miss Cleo. Yeah. So Ebola virus, Jay.
The Ebola, what? And so this is one of those ones. Definitely, it's crazy.
People forget about the Ebola virus. People forgot. Yeah,
100%, 100%, and it's nasty. And there's been a couple outbreaks, and you could kind of make the argument that it's a numbers game, right? Population is huge, things like that. I mean, that's really the whole thing with COVID. All it did was expose us to just how fast a really nasty chemical or biological warfare item could be spread.
Absolutely.
I mean, because it spread, and there was nothing we do. I remember watching it spread on the news. So you could say that with its numbers, but to be so specific with the Ebola, that's where it gets tricky. They picked something out that was kind of on the fringe, and turned out to have a big second coming, didn't it?
Yeah, sure did. So yeah, again, another very, very accurate prediction, Jay. Talking about 10, 20 years, prior, being able to come up with this stuff. Let's get to number 12, Whacking Day. Aired April 29th, 1993. The holiday, which involved killing as many snakes as possible, slithered its way into the real world in 2013. Of course, here, Jay, we know we're residents of Florida. The Python Challenge is an annual event where people wade into the Florida Everglades to thin the population of invasive Burmese python species, whose that's me, whose overpopulation endangers the diverse native ecosystem. So yeah, Jay, 1993 all the way to 2013. 20 years, maybe. I don't know. Hey, maybe.
All right.
I don't know.
But so I remember going through this when we were kids and in school and talking about invasive species. Right. And I remember the guys coming from Gumbo Limbo.
Oh,
and I remember they had this python. Its head.
It's huge.
This big, man. It was it was 4 times the size of my head. And I remember we all got to go up and hold it, and it took all of us together to hold this thing. And I remember I got the head. Because my luck. So I'm holding this thing's head and it's looking at me. And in my mind, I'm like, if this thing decides to chomp down, I'm done. So even back then, and we're talking that was 92,
right?
91,
right?
They were already talking about how pythons had been released in the Everglades, other from weather destroying black market holding cells, or from people flushing them, not realizing how big they got or how hard they were to take care of, and just releasing to the wild, expecting nature to kind of do its thing. What they didn't realize was that nature actually was only going to turbocharge what they were and take them from pretty efficient killing machines that would crush you with every breath and every motion to apex predators that are doing it to alligators and caiman. And that is crazy. So, we had to go out there and kill them because they're invasive.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a job that needs to be done.
And you were the man to do it.
That's right. You're damn right, Jay. Well, I mean, this brings a good wrap up for tonight, Jay. I mean, we've gone through 12 different, examples. There's plenty more. For example, the prediction of Game of Thrones scene in 2017. The Simpsons aired a clip where the family's watching the dragon destroy a city, and then literally 2 years later, the Game of Thrones comes out with the exact same scene of the dragon destroying the city. There's that. There's a prediction of JCPenney going out of business in an episode airing in 2006, which it obviously foreshadowed the company going out of business in 2020. Then obviously there's the prediction of the death of Queen Elizabeth, which on an episode aired in 2009 predicted the death of the Queen, where there's a scene of her laying in her casket, and you can see the years that are on top saying 1926 to 2022, which that's when she died. So Jay, again, I mean, what do you where do we go from here? I mean, do we just stay? I mean, is The Simpsons a show that we have to keep on the air now for prediction's sake?
Well, I think the question is, in a lot of these instances, how much of it is art influencing reality and society, and how much of it is them predicting the future because they have a crystal ball? My guess is that with a lot of it, especially when it comes to the entertainment portions, it really is them being so influential and being what they are, as opposed to something nefarious or scary or magical or supernatural. There are a couple that
are disconcerting. Yeah, especially with the length of time, like 20 years. You're talking about 20 years. That's a long time. 20 years. Yeah. I mean, it's hard to predict that. So again, Jay, that's a great wrap up for tonight. I hope you guys really enjoyed that. There's so many more examples. Go ahead. I just implore you guys to go ahead and do your own research
GTS.
And look up. Yeah. GTS. Google that shit. I mean, it's amazing what you'll find. Like, again, there's so many examples of this. Why? I don't know. I can't answer that. Me and Jay cannot answer that question for you. Why? We don't know. But they have predicted a lot of crazy shit that's happening in our society. So big ups to The Simpsons. So that's a good wrap up for tonight, Jay. Again, I just wanted to let everybody know where they can listen to the podcast. Go to darkfringeradio.com. You can go there and listen to all our stuff and see everything that we post on a daily basis. Anything else for tonight, Jay, before we say goodnight?
Friends, let's keep in mind that the Earth is not as big as it used to be. Let's keep in mind that everybody's got something they're going through.
It's not flat.
And there's no Sasquatch.
There's no Sasquatch? No.
There's no Sasquatch.
No water babies?
I had that. Hey, man.
Hey.
That's not even funny. Hey, man,
that's a whole other thing, yeah. That's
not even funny, man. That's not even funny. Because, because you're 100% right. Okay? Water babies.
Right. Yeah.
Okay? There is no Sasquatch, and let's pray there are no water babies.
Yeah, that's right. You're absolutely right about that. I'm with you on that. But go ahead, Jay.
I'd be screwed. Be nice. Do it. Just attitude and effort. If you keep a positive attitude and you give maximum effort and you treat people decently, everybody be okay, I promise.
There you go. Couldn't say it better myself, Jay. Thanks so much for joining us again in another edition of Dark Fringe Radio. Again, we thank you guys for doing the same as well. Please continue to like and share all our stuff, and we'll see you guys again next week for another edition of Dark Fringe